the Isle of Man, an emerald jewel forgotten in the middle of the Irish Sea. Rolling fields stretch across its heart, stitched together by dry stone walls in centuries of quiet labour. Sheep graze beneath the skies of clouds that seem to touch the land itself. It's a place where time feels slower, where the land remembers its stories in whispers carried by the wind. A place where peace meets peril, a land of raw natural beauty and raw power. It's an island defined by contrast between serenity and adrenaline. And yet, beneath the rhythm of this vibrant island lies a forgotten heartbeat. Along the Douglas Promenade, where laughter once echoed, a shadow remains. The ruins of Summerland, once a beacon of joy. A futuristic leisure complex where families gathered, music played, and summer felt endless. But tragedy struck. There was hunched shoulders and crossed arms in the evening of August 2nd, 1973, before all calamity befell. Due to a tossed out cigarette, a fire rose and refused to stop. 3,000 people began rushing for doors. Melted plastic dripped from the roof and attacked people, sticking to their skin. They scurried for the fire exits before all their hope drained, as doors were chained shut. They felt like rats in a trap. All hell broke loose as thousands of people pushed for the main door, trampling on bodies below them. 50 people died, and Summerland was no more. For decades, these ruins have stood as a scar, an eyesore against the island's forward-looking spirit.
That was, yeah.
How come you didn't?
Well, what happened was, at the time, my uncle was over on the Isle of Man. He's from Somerset, so they'd come over on holiday. So brought his two sons, and they weren't long on the island. So obviously, Summerland being the big place at the time, he'd come round ours to suggest to me dad that we went to Summerland the other day. And I think, to be honest, it was only through us not being ready to go at the time that we changed our plans at the very last minute. But we could have been there on the day. So initially what happened on the day was we ended up going somewhere else, which fortunately at the time, otherwise we would have been involved in it. No, I don't. No. If I go back to my day, Summerland was amazing. It was, but there was a lot more places to go back in my day. At Summerland, and then up from Summerland you had White City, which is a fun fair, which has obviously been overtaken. Obviously the island now is very financial, and you've got housing, and there's a lot of the land has been taken over to cater for housing, more houses and one thing and another. So, but back then we had Summerland, we had White City, and then down onto the promenade we had the Crescent Leisure Centre. And then obviously there was a lot of arcades back then as well, to Strand Street. There was just a lot more to do. Yeah, to be honest, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd have to probably say that social media, and if I go back to my time then, there wasn't mobile phones, there wasn't electronics, there wasn't computers. Computers had only just come on the scene back then. Yeah. And they were a lot more simplified back then. There was nothing the way they are now. But I think social media is very much the downfall of the way the art conversation's gone. Young people are just stuck in their head in their phones, which I know technology takes over, but it's sad in a way. Yeah. Because I think young people haven't got as much to do, or they're too much electronically minded right now. I think it needs restored. I agree that there should be a monument there, and I really feel for the people that suffered in that fire. But what you've got to remember is that was a long, long time ago. But what we've got to think is the future now with children. And what's happening is children are growing up and they're moving across. They're moving away from the Isle of Man because there's nothing here. I think we need to invest in children over here. And there should be a lot more for children to do on the Isle of Man. I think it's a sensitive topic locally. I don't think it's really fair to bring animosity on the government right now, because the government sits now, and all them people that are in the government now weren't in the government back then. I feel for the people who lost their lives. I feel for the relatives of lost people that were in that fire. But at the end of the day, I think you've got to sometimes put things behind you. It happens. Nothing is ever going to bring them people back. But I think there should be, and there is, a monument standing in place to remember them people all them years ago. I think sometimes you've got to put things behind you. But it'll never ever be forgotten. It was a tragedy, like, it was. And a tragedy I could have been in as well.
The Isle of Man, known for its beauty, its heritage, its peace. But behind the postcard views, there's a quiet problem growing. For the Manx youth, opportunities for fun and connection are disappearing. Once thriving entertainment venues have closed their doors, and with them, the spaces where young people could be creative, social, and safe. With fewer activities and less support, boredom turns to frustration, and frustration too often turns to antisocial behaviour. Reports of vandalism, noise complaints, and public disturbances have risen in recent years, not out of malice, but out of a deep sense of restlessness. The island's youth are searching for something to do, for somewhere to belong. But what if that could change? What if a new place could rise, a space built for the next generation, where energy and creativity could flourish again? For decades, the ruins of Summerland have loomed over the Douglas coastline, a decaying reminder of the island's lost potential. Cracked walls, rusted metal, and overgrown weeds have turned a place once full of joy into an eyesore frozen in time. But now, a new vision rises from the ruins, the Seaway Entertainment Centre. Built with net zero emissions, powered entirely by wind turbines and solar powered energy, Seaway isn't just entertainment, it's a commitment to a Manx, sustainable future. From the ruins of the past, the Isle of Man steps forward, bold, modern and green. Seaway, where the island's future begins.